Major funding for NJTV News is provided in part by the members of the New Jersey Education Association, making public schools great for every child, and PSE&G. We make things work for communities.
Tonight on NJTV News, doling out fully 40% of the state budget in a brand new way.
A hard-fought effort to equalize school funding culminated today in Governor Murphy signing a school funding reform bill.
At the Voice Summit, you can do interactive storytelling at Jurassic Park or chat up a medical buddy who will remind you to check your blood sugar. Voice technology sounds like the next big thing.
Plus, one city's plan to decriminalize pot goes up in smoke, vaporized by the state attorney general. Those stories and more next on NJTV News.
Live from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway Center in Newark, this is NJTV News with Mary Alice Williams.
Hello, thank you for joining us. It's now the law. The new school funding formula redistributes the wealth, so schools shortchanged for a decade get more money. But some of the districts that get less will also pay more in taxes. Chief Political Correspondent Michael Aaron reports.
At an elementary school in the borough of Cliffside Park, Governor Murphy and Senate President Steve Sweeney came together for a major bill signing.
This is now the law of the land.
The bill updates the School Funding Reform Act of 2008 to make it more fair and equitable for local school districts.
When I ran for governor, I said time and again in town halls across our state that our system of school funding, while sound at its core, needed to be modernized. Over time, we saw districts which underwent great change and experienced increased financial stress left underserved by the SFRA.
There were two flaws in that system: enrollment caps and adjustment aid. Under enrollment caps, school districts could not get additional aid if their student bodies grew. Under adjustment aid, districts whose school populations shrunk had to be held harmless from year to year and couldn't be cut.
You had districts that were getting funding for kids they didn't have. And then you had districts that had kids they weren't getting any funding for. Perfect example in my home county, Washington Township, is getting funding for 1,600 kids they don't have. The average property taxes in that town was around $8,000. You move to Kingsway, in the schools they serve, they don't even have books. They were sharing books, and their tax rate's at $16,000. And they have 1,000 kids in school that they get no funding for.
We need to make sure the means of funding public education, the single largest investment in the budget, and among the most important investments made by state government, works for today and tomorrow, not just yesterday.
Kingsway, Chesterfield, Freehold, those are among the handful of districts that became poster children for underfunding. The inequities they complained about will now be phased out over the next 7 years.
By fiscal year 2025, every district will receive the appropriate level of aid under the school funding formula.
391 districts around the state will see an increase in direct state aid this year. 171 will see a reduction. 14 will see no change. Among the losers, a number of former Abbott districts, also called special needs districts. To cushion the blow, in Jersey City, where enrollment has shrunk 11% since 2009, a separate bill allows the town to impose a new 1% payroll tax dedicated to schools. Sweeney said it had been a long fight.
I told the governor, these people from Chesterfield and from Kingsway are going to haunt you, right? And I said, and if I tell them not to come, they're coming anyway.
Though they've been battling this year, the two top Democrats had good chemistry today. The NJEA likes the reform and a parallel effort to get education once again fully funded.
After 7 or 8 years of being underfunded, defunded, almost $9 billion worth, we finally have the legislature working with the governor to do the right thing for our students and for our members.
There was a sense of real accomplishment here today. Whether the school funding reform plays out as well as the rhetoric here would suggest, We'll have to wait and see. In Cliffside Park, I'm Michael Aaron, NJTV News.
Scrutiny of pension funds tops the state of New Jersey business. Rhonda Schaffler's off today. Here with all the business news is Joanna Gagas. Joanna?
Mary Alice, Governor Murphy on Monday vetoed 2 bills that would divest state pension funds from investments from companies engaged in questionable behavior. One bill would have withdrawn funds from entities involved in foreclosures of homes in Puerto Rico damaged by Hurricane Maria, and the second from entities that don't follow environmental cleanup rules in Superfund sites. Now, during his campaign, the governor was supportive of divesting from such companies, but now says it's not the only appropriate response. Murphy now wants to create a state investment council to advise on these decisions, and Senators Teresa Ruiz and Nilsa Cruz Perez have accused the state of failing to support families struggling to recover from devastating circumstances. Stock up on fuel and food if you're traveling south in New Jersey after Labor Day. Service areas on the Garden State Parkway and New Jersey Turnpike will be closed for renovations. On the Turnpike, the Thomas Edison rest stop between exits 11 and 12, and on the Parkway, the Monmouth service area by exit 100 will be closed. Renovations are expected to last until Memorial Day 2019. And remember, no rest stop means no rest room. Comcast has already dropped the Big Ten network from its lineup in states outside the Big Ten footprint, and now Rutgers fans may face a similar problem. A contract between the cable provider and the network is set to expire on September 1st, and that's the same day as Rutgers' season opener. In fact, the first 4 Rutgers football games are set to air on BTN. Network President Mark Silverman is calling on fans to reach out to Comcast directly to protest this plan. And another cracker recall. Pepperidge Farm is voluntarily recalling several varieties of its Goldfish crackers due to a possible salmonella contamination. Pepperidge Farms is offering a full refund for any items purchased. No illnesses, thankfully, have yet been reported. And on Wall Street, big day for the Dow, which closed up nearly 200 points. And those are your top business stories.
Support for the Business Report is provided by Atlantic City Electric, an Exelon company, connecting communities and powering southern New Jersey.
Even as prosecutions of marijuana cases are grinding to a temporary halt, the verbal sparring match between the state and a city over decriminalizing marijuana seems to be escalating. Jersey City last week issued a memo decriminalizing marijuana. The state attorney general fired off his own missive, calling that an improper exercise of municipal authority. And he called a meeting, after which Kabir Grewal announced an adjournment of all marijuana cases in municipal courts until after Labor Day, pending the advice of a soon-to-be impaneled working group. This morning, Jersey City issued a press release touting soon-to-be developed statewide guidelines regarding dismissal of simple marijuana offenses, calling it a huge win for Jersey City. Whereupon the Attorney General fired off another salvo, pointing out that Jersey City's release was inaccurate and had outlined the content of a directive that doesn't exist yet. Stay tuned. Now to a landmark agreement. The state's largest healthcare system will invest more than $1 billion in the state's largest university system to create what leaders of RWJ Barnabas Health and Rutgers University say will be the largest academic health system in the state and one of the most comprehensive in the country. Senior correspondent David Cruz reports.
The deal was made last year, but finalized just this morning.
Medical schools inherently lose money.
Now you tell me.
I told you before, too.
Too late now, fellas. The much-anticipated and really already underway partnership between Robert Wood Johnson and Rutgers became official today at a university board meeting, after which the principals sat for a press briefing.
We have the kind of scale now intellectually as well as physically to be able to go into communities and expand our clinical programs and offer this kind of accessibility that, frankly, heretofore has been difficult to do.
That's Barry Ostrowski, a member of the NJTV board and CEO of Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas, which is an NJTV News underwriter. RWJ Barnabas has committed to $1 billion investment over the next 20 years in facilities and services. Ostrowski couldn't say exactly where or how the bricks and mortar side of the deal will happen, but Rutgers Biomedical and Health Science Chancellor Brian Strom said the added capacity of Barnabas will have an impact on the bottom line by helping the new entity get a larger slice of grants and clinical studies.
We can go to contract for research with pharma and NIH and other agencies saying we have this huge population we can bring, a very diverse population, a major strength that New Jersey has to be able to bring to these clinical trials. With that, bring both, again, additional revenue. Right now, there are fewer clinical trials are underway in New Jersey than there are in Kentucky.
And that would mean access to better medical and social services for patients across the state and historic new academic opportunities for medical students at Rutgers.
The number of applications to enter medical school classes here at our schools have gone from 2,000 to 5,500. That's with a class size of about 170.
Robert Barchi, the university's president, sounded like he was talking to a Rutgers business school class in describing the deal.
There are very few times when two organizations of our size enter into a partnership which is truly mutually beneficial. This is one where the synergies are on both sides.
In the end, the proof of any academic healthcare system is in the care the community gets. In that respect, the benefits here are promised, with fulfillment coming down the line. In New Brunswick, I'm David Cruz, NJTV News.
Coming down the technological timeline, technology that allows you to run nearly everything you have and get nearly everything you need simply by using your voice. Senior correspondent Brenda Flanagan reports.
Text Brenda Flanagan.
Voice technologies moved way beyond dictating texts. During the first annual Voice Summit, 2,500 people, more than 1,000 companies gathered at NJIT in Newark to talk about how voice will transform digital communication.
We are so used to now using our smartphones. We got used over the last 10 years, tapping, swiping, pinching. Well, now we're going to start using our voice to run everything.
Forget your medicine? Try Orbita's interactive tool for medical reminders. No need to log in. The Boston-based company's chatty app cheerfully asks,
"Have you taken your medication?"
Yes.
Great. At 8 a.m., measure your glucose.
What voice does is that instead of you navigating and trying to learn each screen, it starts to talk to you and can have a conversation with the person about why is their blood glucose high.
It's just incredible. I mean, I've worked in web and I've worked in mobile, but I've never seen that connection, that conversation and voice and that empowerment that this can bring.
In his keynote, Amazon's David Isbitsky explained voice will increasingly replace touchscreens as computers keep learning better ways to interpret speech. They're figuring out the difference between 40 times, 4T times, and 4T times through context.
Machines now are finally catching up to the point, and it's very early days, but we can begin to understand context with the help of all of us talking about what type of conversation that context happens in.
That NJIT and Newark landed this plum of an inaugural summit is no mean feat.
We're going to have a major impact on the community, and companies are going to start popping up. People are going to be getting jobs in this sector, and they're going to be it's going to be one of the smartest cities in the world when it comes to voice-first technology.
We have so many developers and programmers here today that we're hoping look at Newark and tap into Newark for their startups. We're open arms.
And ready to embrace companies like Earplay, which markets interactive storytelling. You can explore Jurassic Park, where the boat captain's demanding payment.
Do we pay him or stick to the deal?
Pay him.
CEO John Myers came here from Boston.
The technology is kind of new and the devices are just now getting out to people. The market is kind of very early. So this is a chance for all those who are participating who want to drive that forward to come together to talk, to share ideas, and to make the future happen.
This summit's just getting started. It'll run for 2 more days of demos, displays, and hopefully deals for thousands of entrepreneurs. At NJIT in Newark, I'm Brenda Flanagan, NJTV News.
High-flying agricultural technology tops tonight's Garden State Express. Our first stop, Woolwich Township, deploying new artillery in the battle for better crops. Drones, not your average drones. This one has more than a 6-foot wingspan and is big enough to carry a 4-gallon tank filled with fertilizer, pesticide, fungicide, herbicide, or whatever Grotopius or Bello Farms owners Chris Wilson and Steve Vasquez need to control their crops and save time and money. New Jersey Secretary of Agriculture Doug Fisher was the first ag chief to give the new precision agricultural investment a test run. Like all farm equipment, it's pricey. The owners say fully loaded with camera, batteries, and computer, it set them back more than $30,000, but using it on their 20-acre test lab could put their farm at the forefront. Next to Deal, where volunteers employed low-tech to conduct an emergency beach cleanup, some 200 pounds of floating garbage washed ashore, forcing 13 Monmouth County beaches to close, 3 of them in Deal. Volunteers, along with 2 Deal police officers, spent about 2 hours scooping up and bagging countless plastic straws, cups, bottles, and lids off the sand and dunes. Although officials didn't know for sure, the source of the debris is believed to be the combined sewer discharge from the New York Harbor area following last week's heavy rain. Finally, Glen Ridge celebrating a hometown girl who took the plunge her way. Melanie and Patrick Russell packed their mothers, a brother, and a few stalwart friends into a tiny wicker gondola of a hot air balloon, banking on having the wind at their backs, and soared skyward, then deftly took the big step into marriage that looked more like a leap of faith. Happy landings. And that's our Garden State Express for Tuesday, July 24th. Something up in your neighborhood? Tip us off. Pawn shops, scrap yards, and cash for gold stores have become ATMs for addicts, exchanging for stolen goods tens of millions of dollars in drug money to fund their habits. That finding contained in a 108-page report released by an independent watchdog investigating public corruption and organized crime. Rhonda Schaffler sat down with Kathy Riley of the New Jersey State Commission of Investigation, looking into complicity in New Jersey's drug addiction crisis.
You basically looked at an underground economy here in New Jersey with some very unsavory characters and activities.
Yes. This investigation grew out of an investigation we did 10 years ago that we were one of the first government agencies to really identify the growing prescription pill abuse as the leading edge into a heroin epidemic. So we looked at that issue a little closer and found that there were some corrupt businesses that were essentially profiting from victims of the heroin and opioid crisis and cashing in on that crisis by enabling and exploiting drug addicts who are basically desperate to do whatever they can to fund their next fix.
So these businesses included things like pawn shops, recycling centers, businesses that perhaps not completely surprising. Some materials going through there could be questionable. They don't have the best reputation. But there was illegality going on.
Well, I think what was compelling that we found was not only were these businesses accepting stolen goods, but in some cases they were directing customers on what items to steal that they could be resold for maximum value.
So the people that came in that had issues, they needed drug money. Tell me some stories briefly. Give me examples of some of the people you encountered during this investigation.
We had very many sad tales of individuals who were raiding parts of the public infrastructure. We're talking manhole covers, storm grates, wire emblazoned with the local utility, and they would load up vehicles that would be so loaded down with these metals they would be dragging on the ground. And these folks were going to these scrap yards and secondhand stores 2-3 times a day. They would go and they would sell these items that were clearly stolen, and the same thing happened at every time. No questions asked. They were readily given cash to fund their sale.
And cell phone towers, too, were hit, right?
Yes, we also had some stories of individuals who had previously worked for some of the telecom companies and unfortunately became addicted to heroin. And what happened is they still knew the codes to the cell phone towers. They were never changed. So they were able to go in and raid the batteries, the backup batteries to these, and they apparently sold for quite a penny. And the problem is when that happens, cell phone service is compromised for all of us.
So why weren't any questions asked? If somebody comes in multiple times during the day with metals that say, or wires that say PSE&G on them, how could no questions be asked?
Well, we had one of the retailers, or I'm sorry, one of the scrap dealers who told us if we ask questions, I wouldn't have any customers, which we think sort of summarizes our argument here that they're knowingly buying stolen goods.
And how are residents of New Jersey being impacted beyond those involved in the transaction? There is a public cost to what you found.
Absolutely. There's a public cost to, first of all, the infrastructure that's stolen or damaged. That's tax dollars that have to pay to replace that. Also, regular citizens could feel the impact in higher cell phone bills or utility bills. And also, we saw the whole element of items that were stolen from retailers. Well, they have to pass the costs on somewhere to regular taxpayers as well.
There were some very sad stories in this report. There was a man who went through $800,000 worth of money to support his drug habit and then had to turn to going into some of these scrap yards and just selling goods to sustain the habit.
Absolutely. Some of the stories are heartbreaking. And these are individuals who said they were desperate, otherwise they would never do such things. We also heard from the family members of people who had overdosed. And they were equally heartbreaking because they had gone to some of these businesses and said, you know my loved one is selling stolen items here. Please do not give them money to fund their drug habit.
All right, so what is the underlying problem? Why is this going on, and how does it get fixed?
Well, what we found is there's a real patchwork approach to addressing this. Municipalities regulate secondhand goods stores and scrap yards, so there's sort of a hit or miss approach, if you will. And some municipalities have pretty good ordinances, and we highlighted one in Pine Beach, Ocean County, but a lot of them don't. In fact, we found some towns that the police didn't even know they had an ordinance to police these kind of operations. So we think there needs to be a more overall statewide approach to both regulation and oversight.
And then, of course, the issue always comes up, how do you regulate people that are being honest? You don't want to have a broad brush and hurt everybody. And in fact, Governor Christie was not a fan of increased regulation on these entities. How many bad apples are there? Is it the exception rather than the rule? From what
we don't like to paint a broad brush either. But I think if these businesses are doing the right thing, they're not going to have any problem. Some of the regulations that we're proposing are online databases that would regulate sales and track the details of those sales. That's already being done in some communities, and it seems to be pretty effective.
And what other suggestions is the commission making?
We would like to see, again, statewide licensing. We recommend the state police handle that and that they could work hand in hand with the county and local officials to regulate it. We also think there should be things like video cameras to watch what's going on in these businesses. There's a lot of things that we think that would not be too onerous on the business community, because we don't want to do that either. We think these are things that are reasonable but could be effective.
What surprised you the most when you were doing work on this report and learning about some of these individuals?
I think the extent to the infrastructure theft. I think a lot of us know that, you know, drug addicts perhaps steal things to fund their drug habits, but the fact that bleachers were being stolen from a schoolyard, or, you know, storm grates and manhole covers. I mean, the just desperation and the lengths that were gone to get metal that will fund a habit was pretty staggering.
Eye-opening report. Kathy Riley from the SCI. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
some noteworthy facts that help you know Jersey. The New Jersey State Commission of Investigation was founded in 1969. Chesterfield Township gets an increase in state school funding of 193%. Robert Wood Johnson Medical School was founded in 1961 as Rutgers Medical School. And the Thomas Edison Turnpike stop is one of 13 named after notable Jersey residents. If there's someone who you'd like to get to know Jersey, share. Use hashtag KnowJersey. Tomorrow on NJTV News, the state's affordable housing needs. To share any story you've seen tonight, go to njtvnews.org. I'm Mary Alice Williams. For all the men and women of NJTV News, thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. NJM Insurance Group, serving the insurance needs of New Jersey residents and businesses for more than 100 years. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Have some water. Look at these kids. How are you? What do you see? I see myself. I became an ESL teacher to give my students what I wanted when I came to this country. The opportunity to learn, to dream, to achieve, a chance to belong and to be an American. My name is Julia Toriani Crumpton, and I'm proud to be an NJEA member.